Hello everyone, Lord Baldrith here with a great story by blaquerogue entitled The Ebon Viper, Chapter 1. Blaquerogue sat there in his dark den, running his dark fingers around the wine goblet, deep in thought. He knew they would not let him go that easy. He was stupid to think otherwise. After all, it is the Assassin's Guild. There was always someone willing to fill your shoes when you're as good as he was at his art of death. Someone was always trying to take that title as the greatest assassin in the kingdoms of Cardador, for that was absolutely what he was. He had a target on his back every day he left his keep. Always some young rogue trying to take the title. It always ended up the same. That same rogue choking on his blood as his lungs filled with blood. The Ebon Viper was an artist, and death was always his masterpiece. He had only one equal, his fellow dark elf, Ariella, known as the Night Orchid. She was just as good as he. They trained all through their younger years in Underdark, a place where drow come from. They were like any other elf race, except they had black skin and dark magics, also thirst for blood and power. Like Ariella, he longed for freedom of rule by the tyrants that ran it. Ariella was the first to escape the Underdark, and blaquerogue was the second. How he missed her. After all, blaquerogue taught her to fight with the scimitars, strictly forbidden by the elders. Female drow were supposed to be priests, males supposed to be slaves and fighters. Ariella took blaquerogue as her slave to protect him from the mistreatment he would get by any other priest. She taught him magics forbidden by the elders, of course, and he taught her the art of shadow dance, one of the most deadliest sword techniques of all. He knew she would escape this place. He even handed her a map he had made to do it. When she did, of course, he was blamed, beaten, and accused of chasing her away by trying to mate her against her will. He and her would never be a mating couple. They were best friends, though, and a deadly force when together, for they knew each other so well that they moved in perfect synchronicity without a word between them when fighting, felling all that came before them. Then they got the order to kill a human child, and that is when things went sour. Blaquerogue refused to follow that order, as well as Ariella. They were both separated. She was thrown before her man, and he was left to punishment of the priests. He had heard she escaped and was happy for her. Then one day he followed suit. One day they would see each other again. He was sure of it. For just recently, he heard of some doings of someone named Night Orchid. A thieves' guild master was assassinated in some town just past the swamps to the north. He knew she kept the name he gave her at a young age, and he smiled for once in the many years of being an assassin at this thought. Getting back to the main thought, the only way out of the Assassin's Guild and business was by taking out those that would try to kill him if he left. He knew he was going to have to start with making Terran disappear. Terran was the only one foolish enough to try and kill him. He had been trying to work his way up to blaquerogue's level within the guild for years. Blaquerogue, the Ebon Viper, was the only thing standing in Terran's way. Blaquerogue threw his glass across the room, shattering it against the stone wall. He then went to his locker and began pulling out his tools of the trade and strapping them on. A black ebony scimitar that had an eerie dark purple glow shimmering off of it, and an ivory dagger unnaturally light for its size. He slipped the scimitar into its sheath and sheathed the dagger in a hidden compartment just under his black dragon leather armored chest he wore, matched by the black dragon leather pants and boots. Yes, he was upper class, elite to say the least. His trade paid well. He filled his various belt pouches with flasks of green liquid and flasks of a smoky gray liquid, followed by 4 more daggers, 1 in each boot, and 1 under each sleeve of his chest piece. Throwing his backpack on, he was off to collect another life to add to his collection of so many over the years. But finally, this time, for his own well-being. He slipped out of his secret exit, only passage from his house, and the door swung closed, slowly and latched without a sound, blending into the design of the side of his keep. Moving at a fast pace, barely making a sound, and heading to the city below. Gold Crest, the name of this city in the south of the continent, was a lot less glamorous than its name. It was just another bustling city filled with people from all walks of life. The streets were dirty and dingy. Shopkeepers lined the main street, as well as thieves and pickpockets. Blaquerogue knew them all. The shop owners were closing down for the night, moving their wares back into the shops. The sun had been down for a little over an hour, and the lanterns lit the streets except the alleyways. They were never lit. Walking with the crowds, he slipped off into one and over to the next street. This is when his skill came into effect. Keeping close to the shadows, he would pass people by as they looked around to see where that movement of air came from. As they turned around, he was long gone. Dipping back into another alley, he knew someone was following him. He could smell them. This one smoked a pipe. He knew, for tobacco lingered on him still. Hugging the shadows down the alley, he stopped and looked up. A shadow jumped from one rooftop to the other. Quickly, he rolled to the left side of the alley and into the shadows there. Slowing down, he crept like a beast stalking its prey. He could hear the padded footsteps moving up and down the alley via the roof. Quickly, he found a shadow at the edge of the alley opening up onto the busy street. There, he waited quietly, dagger already pulled, and waiting like that of a viper's fang for the strike. It would come, he knew. Sliding off the roof and dropping just in front of him was a fellow clad in black cloth. As he turned around, an ivory blade opened his neck, spilling blood forth. Blaquerogue threw his hand over the mouth and nose of this one, dragging him back further into the shadows. There, he held him low until finally he suffocated or drowned in his own blood. 2 deep jabs to the man's heart, and the cat and the mouse game was over as he stuffed the body behind some boxes there in the alleyway. Cleaning his ivory blade, he cut the purse from the man's belt and dumped the coin into his own. Then Blaquerogue threw his cloak around him and grabbed an empty liquor jug he found in the alley. He splashed what little was left on his cloak and stumbled out into the crowd, just another drunkard. He was bumping into people and apologizing. They bought this news hook, line, and sinker. When he crossed the street into the next alleyway, he counted his take. 4 bags of coin should make for a good night at the tavern, where he knew he would find Taron drinking as usual. Rogues should never have a usual place. This was Taron's first mistake. The tavern was busy with patrons. It was wall-to-wall people, drinking, laughing, having a good time after a long day of work. He walked through the front door, a quick glance around the tavern. He knew all he needed about the people, the exits, and where Gantrol, the assassin's guildmaster, was. His normal table at the back of the place. He saw Blaquerogue walk in and smiled his toothy grin. This was one of those places they called a safe house. No one was allowed to perform any of their dirty deeds here, or they would suffer with their life. One of the many rules Gantrol had made since this was his favorite place to be. Terran slipped behind blaquerogue, but not unnoticed. He went straight for Gantrell's table. He was stopped by some of his thugs, who said no word. Gantrell waved them off, and blaquerogue sat down next to him. "Well met, my friend. Have you finally reconsidered your retirement?" he said with a smile. "No one will touch you here, I promise. It is the rules, as you know," with almost a challenge in his voice. Black picked that up clearly. Sitting down next to him was Terran, who made his way to the table as well, trying to get an ear on things and being Gantrell's personal bodyguard in the absence of Black. Blaquerogue looked at Terran and smiled and said, "Yes, I've reconsidered things as of late," putting his arm around Terran. "He seems like a good fit for the job as your new bodyguard." Terran smiled, and Black could see his head was growing bigger by the second. "And what of you?" said Gantrell. "Which area would you like to work in? Moving our market from town to town? Enforcing protection fees?" Blaquerogue smiled and said, "No, I was thinking of something much better. Maybe becoming a partner to you. What do you think of that? We can make the split of 60-40. I'll get 60% of your operation." The smile fell from Gantrell's face with a quickness. Just as confused as Gantrell, so was Terran with a confused look on his face. Blaquerogue smiled and said, "You are a liability to the guild. That is why you will get 40% of the profits." Gantrell, upset, belted out, "What is this you speak of? In my place of business?" In the blink of an eye, 6 quick jabs into Terran's heart with the ivory dagger cutting through his armor as if it wasn't there. Blood sprayed, splashing all over Gantrell's face and Blaquerogue's armor. He gently laid Terran on the table, face first. The whole place was in shock at this moment, especially Gantrell. Blaquerogue called out to the thugs standing around the table, "Clean this mess up." They did as they were told, for they were paid well by Blaquerogue. Turning back to Gantrell, he said, "This is what I think of your rules. Poor Terran would still be alive, at least for a couple more hours, if I hadn't found this on him." He pulled out a piece of paper and threw it down on the table. There, sitting in front of Gantrell, was a bounty for 2,000 gold for Blaquerogue's head, signed by Gantrell himself. Blood still dripping and smudging the ink. "Your thugs work for me now. And as for you, fat man, this is where your story ends." A quick slash across his throat, and the conversation was over in a waterfall of blood. He looked up at the crowd and said, "Let this be a lesson for those that choose to cross me, the Ebon Viper. Business will continue as usual. I am your new guild master." With that, they went back to drinking, but were a lot more quiet, softly talking and whispering amongst themselves. More than likely, plotting Blaquerogue's death under their breath, but he would be ready if they dare tried. Music credits: Temple of the Mystics by J. Daignet, Core by J. Daignet, Sigil by Joseph Gilbert / Kistel, Article 196, Section 1 by Xander Noriega, Shadow of the Clouds by My Canon Singh, The Reach of Hunger by Xander Noriega, Third Month by Megabits, www.megabits.com. Echoes, 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 echoes. From the Cavern was brought to you by Lord Baldrith, Sir Style Teakle, and Asclepius. Do you have a piece you would like us to read? Please contact us at lordbaldrith@thecaverns.net, style@thecaverns.net, or Asclepius@thecaverns.net.